Hi, I'm Paul. For this video, I'm going to talk about something that somebody mentioned the other day about thoughts. A lot of people seem to have this struggle with thoughts, but my thoughts create problems in the future, suggest maybe something could go wrong tomorrow, and then the thoughts then try to solve the problem, and then just create more thoughts of problems that might happen to be able to fix, causing fear. So I would like to talk about that. So these thoughts, where do they come from? It would seem, I've mentioned before about there is a thought maker. The thought maker is the thoughts. So in reality, really, there isn't a thought maker, just thoughts. And thoughts come from memories, past experiences. I have a negative memory of my life. I've been through lots of negative things, therefore my memories all seem to focus on the negative. So, thought maker, this is what we would call the ego. We become attached to the thought maker, which then creates thoughts, but the thought maker, remember, is still just thoughts. The observed is the observer. The observer is the observed. The thought maker is the thought itself. But it does seem that these thoughts do create a scenario of tomorrow, in whichever way, good or bad. Then the thought tries to break down this scenario, looking at all the different possibilities, options, what you should do, what could happen. And it likes to look at these and possibly come up with a solution, which is control. Trying to control the situation before it happened. But what it doesn't realize is it creates the situation to then work out what's going to happen to be able to gain control of it. Creates a problem and tries to solve it and says, look, I'm in control. I can solve this problem. But the problem didn't happen. Kind of like pouring poison in the water up river and then going down river to try to clean the water. So the problem isn't really in the thoughts themselves. Because if the original thought didn't come that tomorrow's going to bring me problems, then there wouldn't be any need to have thought to create a solution. So the problem is in thought maker. It's easy to say that's where the problem is, but we all seem to have this problem. We're all attached onto our thoughts. We want them to continue. Thoughts aren't really real, that they do create an illusion. Let's just say you're falling down a hole. And this hole's a never-ending hole. There's no bottom. Just a hole. And you're falling. And you're falling. Perhaps the days. Perhaps the weeks. Or even a year. And when you're falling down this hole, you're terrified. You've got so much fear of hitting the bottom and then dying. Or just hitting the bottom and having an injury. So you hold this fear. The thought holds the fear of something going wrong. And yet you keep falling and falling. Days pass. Weeks pass. At which point, when you're falling down this hole, do you give up on the fear and say, I've been falling for weeks, months, years, and yet nothing's happened. So I should give up on this idea of fear. I should give up on this idea of something going wrong. Just look at another scenario. You're out walking in Iceland, Greenland, where it's minus 20 degrees on your own. And then you lose your tent or whatever. And it's cold. And you know that if you fall asleep, you'll die. So you keep yourself awake for perhaps one night or 2 nights or even 3 nights. But at some point, you're going to reach a point where you say, I'm going to go to sleep. You know that's the end. But it seems the fear is already gone. You just surrender. Give in. You surrender to the peace. Sleep. Without any worry of what's going to happen. See, it seems that these scenarios what I give, falling down a hole, it seems realistic to say that you're going to hit a certain point where you surrender, you give in. But yet, we don't do that. We can. We definitely can. But we don't seem to do it. It seems to be that we want to keep on. Well, I say we want to. I think we do, really. We want to keep this fear, maybe. We want to keep the thoughts. Maybe we don't want the fear, but the thoughts. We want to keep on creating scenarios to create the illusion that we're in control, even though we don't realize that the scenarios is creating the problem in the first place to be able to solve it. But I guess the idea of what I'm trying to say here is, at what point, falling down that hole, do you say, I surrender, I give in, enough's enough, let's just go with the flow. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say. Thanks for listening.